Look, man, I can't help it that Todd Howard says this shit, all right? He said it. He went on stage and said it, all right?
Yeah, and
I
no
don't.
one is letting him forget forever.
He will never, ever
He'll
be ever.
never live that down.
Yeah. But I feel like the more time goes on, he's just gonna lean into that shit, though. You know,
Mm,
he's just gonna lean into the
he seems
meme.
like the type, yeah.
You know, he's like, yeah, no reason to fight it. Just go along with it.
I mean, they kind of already did in the last few presentations they had at E3 or Gamescom.
Because I mean, at this point, yeah, fuck it, why not? Just lean
Mm.
into it. Just become the villain.
Hmm.
Become the thing that you despise most. Embrace it.
Hmm.
Let it consume you. Wait, am I talking about the video game developer or the Sith? You'll have to figure that out yourself. Yeah. All right. Can you give me the stories? Do we have those? At,
Well,
Oh,
you have two of
they're
them
in
there.
they're in our chat, aren't they? In our
Yep.
conversation, aren't they? Yeah. I think
And
they're in
the
our
CMA
conversation.
one, I put
Yeah, okay.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they in our conversation? I'm sorry, what?
I mean, there's the Eurogamer story about Metacritic. There's the Forbes
Yeah.
for Jedi Survivor.
Give me the Jedi Survivor one.
Yeah, it's there in general.
It it is. Okay. I just didn't scroll up. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
didn't. I did. All right, stop. There's no need for all of that. Stop it. That was unnecessary. I just didn't scroll up. It's fine. If it's not directly in front of me, object permanence kicks in, and I just forget it exists. Okay, now you're just being mean. That's all. That's just being mean to me now. I don't really appreciate that. Oh goodness. Okay.
Don't mind it. Don't mind it. Once we end the call, you'll forget it anyway.
Ooh. You wrong for that, sir. You wrong for that. That was uncalled for. That was rude. That was straight rude. Yeah. So I think I have what I need for these. Yeah, no, like Jedi Survivor is gonna be a weird one. It's gonna be a weird topic.
Weird in what way?
You'll see. You'll see.
Okay.
You know, I had the joy of seeing Pete's tweet about the show he was on, and he was like, "That was not the kind of fucking show I was expecting from him that week." He's like, "That was not what I was expecting. That was interesting. That was a new take for their show." I'm like, "Yeah, Pete. You know, sometimes I gotta switch it up. I can't let you get comfortable on the show, Pete. I gotta hit you with something new once in a while. Really blow your mind when you come on. I can't let you you can't get comfortable. You never, you know. I don't want to give those kind of YouTubers credit, but you should never be too comfortable. Always try something new. But you know what, CD? You know what I'm not doing. You know what I'm not doing right now is playing Chrono Trigger because that shit is done. And oh, god damn it. Going through the Black Omen, my guy, that was an experience. Oh my god. Like not it wasn't difficult. I need you to really take this in. It wasn't difficult. Okay, I don't like using this term to describe RPGs at all because it is not a good thing. The Black Omen is a slog. It is a slog. A really painfully long slog.
Yeah. So lots of difficult enemies.
No, not difficult. Not for me. They're not
Oh,
difficult.
okay.
There's just a fuck ton of them.
Ah, okay. So just a lot of them. Okay.
Yeah, you're doing bunches of encounters, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just a long dungeon. Holy shit!
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of have to. Chrono Trigger is really good in a way that like you have to play around boss strategies. So bosses will kind
Mm-hmm.
of have gimmicks, and you got to just kind of work around them and not,
Mm-hmm.
do
Yep.
the thing that's gonna fuck you up. And
Yeah,
one of
like one of them having a counter stance that pretty much fucks you up in 2 or 3 attacks when you
yeah,
miss time.
yeah, like yeah, the stuff like that. It's just god damn it.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is they have you're fighting and you're fighting a boss. I'm not gonna spoil who, because you haven't
Mm-hmm.
gotten there yet. So I'm not gonna spoil who. Where
Mm-hmm.
they have hands and a head, a la
Mm-hmm.
Andros from Star Fox, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to attack the hands, which sounds really counterproductive because
Mm-hmm.
usually in a lot of these boss fights where they have multiple bits, you kind of want to get rid of at least one of them because one of them usually has some kind of ability or something that makes the fight harder.
Yeah,
So you get
there was already one of those that I had
yeah.
with
Uh
uh
yeah,
with
no,
hands
don't do
and a
that.
head.
Don't do that. Don't get rid of
Mm-hmm.
the hands. Just leave the hands alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because the hands do a fucking awful counter attack. Not to
Mm-hmm.
mention, the hands have almost as much health as the goddamn head does.
Mm-hmm.
The head has 28,000 health. The hands have
Yeah, that's quite a
20.
bit.
The hands have 20,000 health. At that point, motherfucker, I'm better off just attacking the head anyways. At
Yeah.
8k health? Like, what? Why? Why would I ever? Oh
Yeah,
god.
just do your most powerful single target attacks and be done with it.
Yeah. And I guess I don't know what I was expecting out of this because I had never really
Mm-hmm.
like pushed myself this hard before. So I'm getting through
Mm-hmm.
Black Omen and I finally start getting to the boss rush of the Black Omen, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
up until a bit, it's mostly just fighting regular enemies and collecting chests and going through corridors
Mm-hmm.
and just fighting more enemies, going through corridors and all this bullshit. But then you get to like the
Mm-hmm.
actual like boss rush, and I'm like, oh, oh, this is not fun. Oh, it's
Hmm.
just one boss after another.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, and then you fight Lavos at the end, and that's not even hard. That's just a
Mm-hmm.
slog because he changes forms or changes attack patterns, and you have to destroy all of them. And at some
Mm-hmm.
point, I'm just like, all right, maybe if I didn't do everything like I did, this would actually be challenging. But right now,
Mm-hmm.
this is just boring. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I'm
So
not.
it's like phase 1, okay, phase 2, mm-hmm. Phase 3,
Oh yeah, up to like
phase 4.
8. Yeah, yeah. No,
Mm-hmm.
it's not.
Yeah, phase
Yeah, it's not. It's
7.
it's not fun. It's not. It's not a good time. Wouldn't recommend it to
Mm-hmm.
my worst enemies.
Hmm.
Hard to say. Won't.
Hmm.
I'm not really willing to like commit to that statement. It's
Mm-hmm.
like my worst enemies. I don't know, man. I don't like my worst enemies. Maybe they might. I might be willing to let them come get it. They can come down there and get it. I don't know if I'm really willing to commit to that. But yeah, no, that wasn't fun. That wasn't a fun time. It was cool to like do the Black Omen bit. I found out that that's the only way to unlock New Game Plus in Chrono Trigger is you have to complete the Black Omen.
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that. Did not know that was a thing. I thought you just had to
Hmm.
beat the game. No, you have to complete the Black Omen. You have to
Mm-hmm.
complete that. If you don't complete it, if you don't do that, you don't unlock New Game Plus. Yeah, found that shit out.
Okay.
That not not sure I would ever have done it otherwise, but
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. Um, but unlike everyone else who usually fights her in a later part of the time stream, because she exists
Mhm.
amongst multiple different points in time, since I have no intention on going through this slog again, guess what, bitch? I went to 12,000 BC or whatever to her
Mhm.
time period. I'm like, no, bitch, I'm killing you where you started.
Mhm.
When you die, you die. That is it. I am deleting your ass out the time stream. Wiping your ass out of existence. You're
So
not gonna have the luxury of existing in other periods
you're
of
not
time.
going the salami tactic.
Yeah, no. No, I don't even want to, dude. Holy god. That was such an unfun experience. I wouldn't no,
Mhm.
fuck that. No, fuck that entirely. I'm like, no bitch, you get one shot and then I'm deleting your ass out the time stream. That is it. Fucking adding her to my list of dead gods. That's a thing I wanted. That's the thing I should probably add to my channel description is how many gods
Mhm.
I've killed.
Hmm.
Yeah, I should have like a killed god counter of how many gods
Mhm.
I've killed since I started my channel. But then we get into this really weird thing in video games where it's like so many enemies call themselves gods, and it's like,
Yeah.
are you a
I mean,
god though? Are
yeah.
you?
You'd have to delineate where's the limit of, yeah, this is a god, this nah.
That's a demigod. You're not really a
Eh.
god. You're
You're just really powerful, but god, nah.
yeah, nah.
But
Let me
once you
ask.
get to the SMT games, yeah, fair
No, no,
enough.
yeah, at that point, you're actually just murdering God. That's actually, uh, like for instance, I almost wanted to put Shada from Nino Kuni
Mhm.
as being a god. I
Hmm.
said almost, almost,
Mhm.
but then I was like, he was never a god. He was just a really powerful sorcerer. He was
Mhm.
godlike, but at the end of the day, I still killed him. So no,
Yeah.
you are in fact not a god. Xenoblade Chronicles, that was a
Mhm.
god, dead ass, straight up god. There is no
Mhm.
debate there. Final Fantasy IX, yeah, you killed a god. You killed the god of death, no matter how poorly defined he is. He was a
Mhm.
god. Final Fantasy VIII, yeah, that was a god.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a deity of some description.
Mhm.
Dragon Quest 11,
Hmm.
Act 3. That's a little hard. I don't know. I'm not
Hmm.
sure if he qualifies.
Mhm.
I almost put Sephiroth in that list from Final Fantasy VII, but Twitter blew up at me about that shit. Because I'm like, is Sephiroth a god? And they're like, no. I'm like, are you sure? His final phase kind of seems godlike to me. You fight the motherfucker in heaven. He has angel wings. I'm pretty sure that's deity status. But yeah, no, Twitter did not like that shit. Lesson learned.
Mhm.
Anyway, CD, how's your week?
It's been pretty decent. Um, I've been playing a new release called
What?
Honkai Star Rail.
Ah, yeah, I've heard some of
Mhm.
my other friends talking about this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the game by the Genshin devs. Which, yep, nice game. Has some notable differences to Genshin. For one, it's not open world, which is a breath of fresh air, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so.
hmm
I'd say so.
And in contrast to Genshin, the battles are turn-based,
Mm, okay.
and it's quite nice. You
Yeah.
have you have your characters all have pretty much your regular attack, an additional skill that uses skill points, an ultimate that charges up over time when you hit the weaknesses of enemies, and Then there's, let me think. That's the main things. But there's also special things that can trigger after certain skills are active. Like one of my first characters has a defense skill that gives a selected character a shield, which acts as a buffer. Before losing HP, the shield is burnt down, and after that, the defending character does a sort of a follow-up attack after the enemy attacked the defended character, which deals a bit of additional damage. Just neat. And obviously, same as Genshin, there's the gacha element to it. So I found a few additional characters so far, which is quite nice. There's a nice mix there. The elements this time are not the same as in Genshin, but there's a neat there are close, but there are some are the same, some are different, I think. Instead of the earth element, it's just physical. For example, there's the usual fire, ice, lightning. What was it? One was, I think, quantum, which is, well, it's its own kind of element, but not quite, because it's probably counts as kind of a time element in the game. And I think, though, lightning I mentioned, I think, and I think that's all of them so far. Maybe there are more, but I think those might be all of them. And I've so far put in a few hours into that. Story is decently interesting. You start off in a space station that gets invaded. Your main character this time is not lost in a different world like in Genshin, but all the same, you don't know how you got there.
Yeah, still sucks.
Yeah, you don't have your memory, and most of the characters don't know you. The one character at the beginning that you just meet for a short while apparently knows you, and she implants a stellarum into you, which is kind of an energy source, but also kind of a connection to a higher being. I'm not quite sure what it is yet. That's something the game is probably gonna explain as the story goes along. But it certainly did show some effect after the first big boss fight.
Oh, nice.
So that's, yep, gonna be interesting. It's also it's more of a science fantasy game in contrast to the more classical fantasy in Genshin.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, and the star rail in the name is rather literal. Because what you do is after you beat back the invasion on the base, there's a train that arrives. Like not exactly a very modern train, but it almost looks like a relatively old school train.
Oh, okay. I'm listening.
And they just use sort of it's not a visible tray, it's not visible rails, but they go through space on rails. And when we now move to another planet, and there's something on the planet that prevents us from moving on. So now we're trying to find out where the source of the problem is and fix it.
Dope.
characters are interesting and decent, not annoying so far. Certainly not in the Japanese dub. I don't know about the English one. I haven't really tried that because I haven't had very many good experiences with English dubs with Genshin.
Yeah. I haven't had many good experience with English dubs with a lot of these more Japanese games anyways.
Mm-hmm.
The English voice acting can be pretty hit or miss. And like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
despite a very small vocal minority, and I do mean very small
Mm-hmm.
vocal minority who feel that Ryza is unplayable without a dub, which by the way,
Uh-huh.
fuck you. It's not. The game is still amazing and the story still
Mm-hmm.
breaks my fucking heart at the end. So fuck you. Despite that vocal
Mm-hmm.
minority, I
Mm-hmm.
will never, ever, ever shun a game for only having subs. I
Yeah.
can't. I just,
Mm-hmm.
I love, like I said, the reason I love Deriza so much is they have this bit in the option where
Mm-hmm.
each of the voice actors recorded a bit where they talk to the player. Right? They say thank
Ah,
you for
neat.
buying the
Mm-hmm.
game. They talk about their experience voicing it, and there
Nice.
are some very standout people who made me
Mm-hmm.
smile, like made
Hmm.
me ear to ear smile. One, Ryza, the girl who plays Ryza.
Mm-hmm.
Her voice is infectious. You can't hear her voice without smiling. I genuinely don't think it's possible. I don't think you could listen to what she says and not smile. And if you do,
Mm-hmm.
that I got words for you. Got fucking words for you. And
Mm-hmm.
the guy who plays Lint, the big
Mm-hmm.
bulky, the bigger guy, his voice is
Mm-hmm.
also infectious, and
Mm.
every time he opens his mouth, I also smile. And I would challenge anybody to listen to either of their voices in those voice bits, and that smile. I don't think it's possible. I don't think you have a soul at that point. But, anyways, as you were, sorry, my bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I haven't. I have usually also played Genshin in the Japanese dub because last time I experienced something of the English dub was one of the musical, one of the songs in the game that are played. I think it's in the later part of the story, and oh boy, that did not sound good.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And but the story and the characters so far in Honkai Star Rail are quite nice, and I really like the science fantasy aspect of it in terms of the setting, because there are some really nice characters that way. One of them that I got through the gacha is essentially an ranged ice damage dealer that has these sort of floating rail guns. Sort of, it's like this long, just pretty round, and they float to the enemy, above the enemy, and shoot down. For example, or the ultimate. There's 4 of those bits that essentially create a circle of ice around the enemy group, which also deals what was it, defense reduction. So yeah, it's quite nice. And the different weapons are also a kind of mix. The first characters you meet are pretty much standard. One has a bow, one has a spear. Your main character has a bat.
The weapon of champions.
You're you're a physical damage dealer, and
Ah, yes, my Persona 5 strategy
Mhm,
of can I hit it with a weapon and can I hit it
mhm.
hard?
Yeah, the ultimate is either hit one enemy really hard or hit an enemy group pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's a really good damage dealer in that regard. And Yeah, I kind of like the mix. And then there's some that have like these flying ice cannons, and then there's one has sort of a floating disc that has sort of mahjong pieces on it, and she uses those to deal damage because they enlarge and then get shot at the enemies, for example, or in the ultimate, she takes them and hits the board, which symbolizes the enemies. So they essentially get a splash damage.
This
It's fun
game
in the
is
animations.
this game is sounding more and more like something Yakuza 7 would have came up with. I don't know, man. This sounds like some Yakuza like a dragon summon shit.
It might
Someone.
not be quite that elaborate, but
I don't know, man.
it's certainly not a straightforward plain fantasy shooty bow and spears and stuff. There's certainly
Yeah,
some neat elements to it.
I dig it. I dig it. I might actually
Mhm.
try it.
Yeah, so far I can recommend.
All right, there.
Yeah, and that's from the gaming viewpoint. That's been pretty much my week.
Oh, cool. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Well, time for the newness, the hotness
Yeah.
of this week. Uh, so, I feel like it's very common now that we have to talk
Mhm.
about PC games that come out that are busted,
Mhm.
and
Oh yeah.
in a Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the PC game, the PC port was
Mhm.
whew, it's busted. It's
Mhm.
dead ass. It is dead ass busted. So my question is, CD,
Mhm.
the theming for this, I kind of want to stick with for this topic is,
Mhm.
shouldn't we be past this shit by now?
Yeah,
Like
I
no,
would
no,
expect so.
okay, no, let me elaborate. I
Mhm.
understand that technology becomes more complicated, right? So like time goes
Mm.
on, technology to some degree becomes a little bit more complicated. You add a little few more doodads onto it, the gears get a little more complex, and that makes things harder. Fine. Right? And the thing is, we were all fine back in like 2010 and 11
Mhm.
when like a console game came out to PC and it was Gears of War 1, right?
Or
We were all
Arkham
like,
Knight.
yeah, we were all like, okay, like fine, this
Mm.
sucks. But I have a really hard time like really buying into the idea that for all the advancements, streamlining of engines, for all the advancements we've made,
Mhm.
the the PC as a platform is still that fucking roadblock that we just can. It's this insurmountable fucking road, fucking the road thing. You know, on sidewalks they put those.
Roadblock.
Yeah, they put those pipes thing there to keep you from driving
Uh-huh.
up onto the fucking sidewalk. Yeah, it's one of
Mhm.
those. We just can't get by
Mm.
that shit. Like is it even valid anymore to say, oh well, making a PC port is because there's too many kinds of PCs and every PC is different, so they can't account for. No, I just don't think that's a thing anymore. Like it is a thing, but like by this
Yeah.
point, engines
It
have
really shouldn't be.
by this point, I would like to believe that unless this game was made off of an in-house engine,
Mhm.
right? Which wouldn't excuse it, but I'd at least be like, okay, optimization, I guess. But I mean, Kojima's.
Yeah, but this isn't even made in Unreal Engine 5, so it isn't even a particularly new engine. This is still Unreal Engine 4. So, and this is, what was it? The sixth title that's busted just this year.
Yeah, this is becoming a commonality. This is not.
Yeah.
This is no longer. It
This year, this is not a special case. This is common for these big releases, and it's bullshit.
And I want to just point out that for the Forbes article that we used,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the person that wrote this article says, I have an RTX 3080 GPU, a
Mm-hmm.
Ryzen
So
7
definitely a good thing.
5800 X3D CPU, 32
Mm-hmm.
gigs of RAM, and everything is running on SSD drives. The OS is
Mm-hmm.
on NVMe. So what
Yeah.
he's saying is, when you want prime conditions to play a video game, he's got the
Mm-hmm.
SSD, he's got the processor, he's got the
Got the
baller
graphics card.
GPU. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm gonna be real.
He's got loads of RAM.
Yeah, he's got 32 gigs of RAM.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to talk about having the optimal situation to play a video game,
Yeah, this is as close to it as you can get without being without spending over over the sensible limit, especially nowadays, given graphics card prices.
because like the original topic I had was
Mm-hmm.
is making a game for PC more difficult than we as a consumer thought it was, because we're seeing these games come out one
Mm-hmm.
after another, and the PC version is fucking busted. So
Mm-hmm.
if this was like one game out of the year that came out busted, we would just look at the dev and go fix that shit, right? One or
Mm-hmm.
two games, fine, fix that shit. Bro, this is
Mm-hmm.
like you said, this is 6 games, my dog. Six games have come out consecutively, and they have been busted as shit. Come out the door looking like the beast out of Beauty and the Beast, busted in the face and everything. Y'all can't tell me nothing. Coming out the gate looking busted. Maybe we were the wrong ones.
Mm.
Cause
Hell no.
I don't even think this is the argument people had back in the PS3 and Xbox 360 days, where they're like, "Oh, devs need to develop for the PC first and then port the games to console that way." Like, I don't even think that's it anymore. I don't even think that's the problem. The consoles are so, they're so close to just being, the consoles have been so close to just being PC since the PS4 and Xbox One, that
Mm-hmm.
you could, in theory, make the same game and just tinker a little bit with certain things and come up with a relatively good product. Now,
Yeah,
I'm not an engineer.
there's just one big difference between console and PC, which is probably one of the reasons that's causing problems.
Okay, I'm
The
listening.
shared memory.
Okay.
You have the regular memory and the VRAM on PC, which
Mm-hmm.
is split. One's on the main motherboard, one's in the graphics card. You don't have that separation on console.
And it's easier to develop for the console then, because it's just one pool as opposed to
Um,
two pools, two
well,
different.
partly that, but the problem then becomes when you port it over to PC,
Mm.
because you have to account for that separation.
Oh.
And that might be one of the issues, that maybe they have too much data going to and from between the regular RAM and the video RAM, which might cause performance issues. The bugs and glitches and all that's a wholly separate thing, but the performance is very likely affected by that.
But like, they all have this problem though. Like
All the big releases have that problem. nowadays,
Yeah, that's
don't
my
they?
point. That's my point, though.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I don't know, man. Like, if I see you fuck up, right, and then I
Mm-hmm.
see the guy behind you in line fuck up, and then I see the
Mm-hmm.
guy behind him in
Yeah.
line fuck up.
One would think that at some point they'd learn. One would think. Although from what I've heard with at least with Jedi Survivor, performance isn't not the only issue.
No, to be
They
fair,
plain did not test this well.
which is, I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be really honest here. Uh, I'm starting to feel like that $10 that they pushed us to pay them more for video games might not be going towards making the fucking video game.
Yeah. Didn't EA relatively recently close one of their locations that was mainly focused on quality assurance?
Yeah, who would have
Was that
thought?
EA?
Yeah,
Hmm.
who would have thought closing quality assurance, closing a studio for quality assurance would result in a game that isn't of qual. Is the console game better, or is the console game a mess? I've only really heard about the PC game being a mess.
Yeah, I haven't heard big issues from the console side in this case, but
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if it's also if it's how good the performance there is, but I've heard certainly didn't hear these complaints with it. And also, there's one other thing on PC that's likely contributing.
Okay. Go on.
De Novo.
Oh, yeah, but CD, they've assured us Denuvo doesn't harm performance at all.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's always been wrong.
Denuvo doesn't hurt the performance. There's no proof that Denuvo would hurt the performance of a video game.
Actually, I think there is proof. There is proof for that.
I was being facetious. It was a joke. it was a joke. It was a joke. I don't know, man. I still, like, to me, this feels like we've been hitting this wall this year, specifically with PC gaming, and I don't get why. Because I genuinely don't think the technology that we have at our disposal should be this difficult.
Yeah, and it isn't. Otherwise, we wouldn't have so many releases that aren't this fucked up.
Yeah, that aren't this busted. Especially when you have people running the game on I wouldn't even say relative fucking good. I mean, this guy from Forbes, that's not a relatively
decently
good,
high end.
Yeah,
that's decently high end hardware.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice fucking system. If you want to fucking throw that my way, I wouldn't.
It's not the most recent generation, but it's still the 3080 is still decently high end. The Ryzen 7 5800 is the X3D is specifically gaming optimized due to its 3D cache.
He's got it on an SSD, so
and SSDs. I mean, SSDs are pretty much standard nowadays anyway, or should be on any system. And 32 gigabytes of RAM is certainly enough.
So yeah, I'm not. I keep waiting for someone to, like, enlighten me on with an actual reason why making a game for PC has turned into this giant affair where the game comes out busted. And I don't really think there is an excuse anymore. I don't feel like there. I think technology. Nope. I think engines. I think the excuse that there's too many PC configurations compared to console configurations. Maybe that maybe that might have applied years ago. That might have
in limited aspects. I can understand if there are some bugs that are not found at release due to some specific configurations, because obviously they can't test every configuration or every driver version and all that.
Right.
But something this busted? No.
Yeah, no, not
I'm
happening.
not buying it.
No, not at all.
This
Anyways,
seems like a we'll fix it in post syndrome.
yeah, this will fix it. CD, you didn't have to call
Mm-hmm.
out my editing habits. Don't appreciate that. Really don't. Really don't appreciate that. So, Metacritic, a website I don't use often, ever. I'll be honest. I'm gonna say it. I won't. I don't really like. I think I use Metacritic in so much as I think we've used it as a reference point on our show, but that's about as far as I go with using Metacritic. I don't really frequent Metacritic.
I go to OpenCritic out of interest if a game releases and want to see how it's generally received, but I'm not going there for a specific rating of a game. Right. I just want to see, okay, is this game received well or not by the reviewers? For other things, I only look at Metacritic if there's a specific controversy, like Warcraft 3 refunded.
Yeah.
Then it's fun. Then it's fun to go there.
CD, I can always appreciate the fact that you're in it for the bit.
Mm-hmm.
You're in it for the gag. You're in it for the laugh. You go on to Metacritic with a very particular mission, and that is for a good laugh. And you know what? I appreciate that. Man. I appreciate that. The title of this story is Metacritic Improving Moderation After Abusive, Disrespectful, Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores Reviews. And I'm going to tinker with this one a little bit, because this isn't...
All right.
This alone wouldn't really... Usually doesn't get me. We hear about review bombing all the fucking time.
Oh, yeah.
Right? My thing is... And this is something I've always kind of felt, is like, okay. At what point, reasonably speaking, like, review bombing, you could look at review bombing in a couple different ways. You could look at it as just assholes being malicious, which, fucking...
Sometimes there are those, obviously.
Yeah, fucking fair. And sometimes you can look at it as a consumer outcry. There's something going on, and the consumer needs to put their voice out there, and review bombing is the best way to get people's attention.
Yeah.
I think they poison the well a little bit in that regard, but yeah, fine, okay, whatever.
It's the problem is it's usually not the same people.
Yeah, no, it's not the same people.
So in cases like the aforementioned Warcraft 3 Reforged, it was a definitely very valid response.
Yeah. My thing is, right? Are we at the point where maybe we might actually want to start having more places that kind of actually like link you to whether or not you've actually played the game or not? Like Steam does it. Steam does it. Should that become...
In Steam you see how much how much the account has played at the point of the review and at current.
Like,
for example.
That
might be a thing to do if that's possible with things like Metacritic, because theoretically you could probably link your PlayStation account, but I'm not sure if it's possible to read the data of this person has the game and has played it, but it might be.
Yeah,
since there's other sites like
if your trophies aren't hidden, if they're not hidden, it will
because
show
there's a site like
PSN
Profiles which shows all your trophies and such, so that probably could be used for that. Yeah,
because here's my thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I on one hand, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not really about the notion of like hardcore moderation to some degree,
Mm-hmm.
because you get to a point when the notion of moderating becomes a
Mm-hmm.
bit more, a little too hands-on for my taste, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go
Yeah.
from moderating racist content and that kind of shit to
Mm-hmm.
like shit that's probably not bad, but you feel like it's bad, so you get rid of it anyways.
I don't like these guys' opinions. I'm gonna put it out, chuck it out. So yeah,
So to me,
that's always a bit
I
of a
would
problem.
I honestly think that for a lot of these places, especially these
Mm-hmm.
places that like aren't Steam, having a way to like actually like link yourself to an account and
Mm-hmm.
say like, okay, this person has, well, I was gonna say played the game, but that could be
Mm-hmm.
as little as started it. But again, at least with Steam, it
The
shows
game
you
is
how
there
much.
on their
Yeah,
profile. Yeah,
yeah,
the game is there on their profile, so we're gonna take that as verified. I mean, things like Rotten Tomatoes, they just verify your ticket. They have no idea how long you've stayed in the movie or if you've been in there anyway.
yeah. I was gonna
They
say,
just say, okay, this guy has bought the ticket, so he can make a review, or he counts as a verified review.
cause I guess like review bombing ain't new, but it's
Hmm.
obviously
Certainly not.
becoming more and more of a thing.
Mm.
It's always, I mean, it's always kind of been a thing, but we have seen it
Hmm.
used to more of an effect, at least as far as just generating fucking headlines. If I'm gonna be honest with
Yeah.
you,
Hmm.
at the bare minimum, it generates fucking headlines for fucking Eurogamer or Kotaku to call gamers
Certainly, if
bad.
it's a topic like this, yeah.
All right, I guess I shouldn't like not mention why
Hmm.
Forbidden West was getting fucking review bombed.
Specifically, Burning Shores, the expansion DLC for Forbidden West.
Alloy's gay, or that's the thing. Like, look,
Yeah.
that's it. What I'm just gonna
Yeah.
keep it real. Like that's just it. She
Hmm.
kisses another girl. People didn't like it. Fuck you. Like
She
I.
can. She
She
can.
can't.
It's an option. You
Oh,
don't have to. It's a dialogue option pretty much near the end of the DLC.
or oh, it's an option. Okay, so
Yeah.
what the fuck? Okay, then don't pick that up fucking option, assholes. Damn.
Hmm.
So like you know
But
what? I don't even like.
the thing is, yeah, there's. I'm pretty sure there's definitely quite a few reviews in there that just don't like that. As
Oh yeah,
in,
no,
yeah,
absolutely,
they don't
absolutely.
like that. That's obviously, yeah.
Yeah, clearly.
But I feel if we would start moderating it, then stuff like I didn't find this storyline believable or well done or something like that might also get swept under the rug with that.
That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, at the very least, I think it would serve more useful to have a way to link people to the
Mm-hmm.
fact that they've played the game more than
Mm-hmm.
like fucking hardcore ass moderation.
Yeah.
Because at the very least, if someone has played it and they have an opinion,
Mm-hmm.
at least they're building that opinion off of actually playing the game
Mm-hmm.
versus, I don't know, an asshole who saw a clip on YouTube out of context
Yeah.
and decided that this game is going to brainwash his kids into being fucking
Mm-hmm.
gay.
Yeah. Or
Which,
be a troll and
yeah,
just add to the fire. Because
yeah,
those are also there, I'm sure.
I think that, and I realize that the common argument as to why they shouldn't is, well, I don't want my identity being linked to my account. That's just Orwellian. That's that's
You don't even have to make it public. You don't even have to make it public. the
Yeah,
link to
it doesn't.
the
Yeah,
account. You could just mark the review with a star as yeah, this is a verified account.
yeah. This
Something
account,
like
at the
that.
very least, has played the
Hmm.
game, so it's trust.
Yeah,
Because
the
that,
account has the game in their library. That's fine.
yeah, because like that's one of the main reasons Steam
Hmm.
reviews, to me at least, I take them a little bit more seriously
Yeah.
because at the very least,
Hmm.
you can see how long they've played the game. And I'm less
Hmm.
likely to take you seriously if you've only had the game booted up for 10 minutes. Now, that being
Hmm.
said, if your review is the game won't run more than a couple of minutes before closing, I've only played the game
Yeah.
for 10 minutes. Well, there you go. I
Hey,
got my
that's fine.
context. I got my context. It's
Yeah,
all
exactly.
context. It's all contextual.
Exactly.
There
And the
really
Steam adds that context so you can,
Yeah, so you can make
yeah, you can see it.
that decision. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, Metacritic, well, unfortunately or however you wish to view it,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah. With Metacritic, it's just open season for everything, essentially.
But
Which,
so
yeah.
I want to run by you something I've seen.
Hmm.
This is a sentiment I've seen
Hmm.
amongst people within the I don't want to say. You know what? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna catch shit.
Hmm.
I'm gonna catch shit because some of them do. Some of them I know sometimes listen to the show. They're not gonna like me to say it
Okay.
like this. Some of the more influencer types. I'm gonna say.
Hmm.
I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna say some of
Okay.
the more influencer types. They don't like being called that. That
Mhm.
Metacritic should just not have user reviews.
Hmm.
Like, let Metacritic uh collate all of the professional reviews and just
Mhm.
not have the user review section.
I disagree.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. I didn't, didn't think you would. Didn't really
Mm,
think that you would be on board with that to begin with.
yeah.
Now, I should mention the context. The main reason they believe this is that if
Mhm.
Metacritic is just going to be abused over and over and over again with review bombing, and
Mhm.
Metacritic's just going to do nothing about it and just consistently let these kind of review bombs happen, totally
Mhm.
different story, then like why bother having them? The user reviews don't really have any value if something with the game can trigger the game's user score, which I might actually take a little bit more seriously sometimes than the professional score. Sometimes,
Mhm.
sometimes,
Mhm.
uh, you know, maybe it hurts the integrity of the entire system if the system
I
can
wouldn't
be
say so.
swayed by like one or two small happenings with the video game and the user score can be tanked within a matter of hours.
I would say suck it up and just take the few minutes to look into why the review bombing happened, and then decide for yourself if it's useful or not for you.
Yeah,
Because otherwise, there wouldn't have been a review bomb for Warcraft 3 Reforged, for example. And sure, I'm sure there would have been other ways people would have complained, but I'm don't think there would have been an easy way to make it that public and that noticeable.
no, I don't think
That's
so.
the advantage of Metacritic being such a public and big site, that it has these rather in a pretty much a central position where you have all your games. You can just quickly look for all the games and see what the problem is, or if it's just something like, yeah, we don't like this, or something like that. If it's really something broken, or if it's just something people don't like or are outraged about, or whatever.
Right, right. Again, just a perspective I've seen from some of the more
Mm, sure.
influencer types on the internet that I tend to have correspondence with. The general view is, well,
Hmm.
this shouldn't be there then. If it's just going to be abused, then why bother even having it? It doesn't serve any purpose if I go there and, a small thing with the game can then trigger an avalanche of bad reviews and then fucking poison the well, the user review score. Now the score's down to like a 3 out of 10 when realistically it might not even be a 3 out of 10. It might be something else for one reason or another. And I don't think getting rid of the user reviews is a good idea. I don't think getting rid of a way for consumers to voice, their opinion on a product is a good thing. I think that's an Orwellian rabbit hole I'm not exactly interested in jumping down and finding out what happened. I don't know if you know this, CD, but finding out is proportional to fucking around.
Yep.
Yeah, it's proportional.
Yep. I know that one.
So if the more you fuck around, the more
likely you are to find out.
You're gonna find out. I ain't willing to find out, CD. Not me. Not this guy. Not today. Not today. I think there are, like I said, better ways of handling this than extreme heavy-handed moderation.
Yep.
And I think there's better ways to handle this that aren't, we'll just get rid of the comment section. You know? I mean...
Yeah.
But the thing... Okay. So, like, I want to... God, this is such a hard thing for me to talk about because it's not just fucking this happens, right? It's like getting rid of the comment section. This isn't even like just specifically a Metacritic thing because YouTubers have done this in the past. Like Total Biscuit is one of the best examples where he just didn't even have a comment section on YouTube for like the longest time, and like his reasoning for not having it. I mean, fine. It's fine. You came to that conclusion yourself. Fine. I don't know. I don't really. I don't like it. I don't like that idea of just being like, oh well, if the kids aren't gonna play nice with their toys, then I guess we'll just get rid of the toy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like it.
Nah.
Not really something.
It's just the same as with the stupidity of YouTube getting rid of the thumbs down display.
Yeah, by the way, it did. I still see thumbs down. There's an actual Google Chrome.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Good job. Good job with that, Google. You didn't get rid of it. You just hit it, and I still see them. I can still see.
Yeah, might not be quite as accurate, but yeah, this didn't help anything.
Yeah, this didn't fix anything. All right. So, as my new method of talking about stories has been so far a success, let's jump into the last one. The United Kingdom regulator blocks Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard due to cloud gaming concerns. Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. Why don't we just let Activision Blizzard just fucking burn? No, okay, hear me out. Look, we've all come to the conclusion that Microsoft probably got a really good deal on this buy because of what all the shit Activision Blizzard was going for, plus Bobby Kotick. Let's keep it honest.
And King, yeah,
and King. I don't really. Like, I know at first I said this could be a pretty big shakeup to the industry if Microsoft bought them, but the longer this goes on, the more my Darwin side of my brain starts to kick on, and I'm like, okay, but what if we let it die? What if we just let natural selection just decide whether or not this company is allowed to live without being absorbed by another fish? Like, yeah, we
problem is they will definitely still be around.
Oh yeah, they're absolutely gonna be around. But I think what would more likely happen is, at some point they're gonna end up just selling off properties. We've seen companies do that. I mean, I think they would. I think Activision would much rather get rid of properties than ever than not give Bobby Kotick his bonus at the end at
Uh,
the
the
end
thing
of
is, the thing is, which properties would they sell off? Because anything they're not using is not worth the money to sell.
yeah.
And the other properties they're still using are worth more when they still keep them and use them. So selling
Yeah.
them, not gonna happen. The dormant IPs are just gonna stay dormant, and the others they're just gonna keep using, like Diablo, Overwatch, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft,
I
Candy
mean,
Crush.
maybe fine, maybe they don't die,
Mm-hmm.
but
Oh, they definitely won't die.
but
That's
public
they
opinion
have more than enough money.
public opinion will do them in one way or another.
Mm.
There's one thing I've learned from Disney movies back when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I may not be able to kill you, but there are many things far worse than death. Return of Jafar, Aladdin 2, easily one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. Just context: Jafar's a genie. He wants to kill Aladdin. Genies can't kill. So instead of killing Aladdin, he's just planning on torturing Aladdin for all time because he can't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
It's really dark, but it serves the purpose.
Yeah.
Cloud gaming concerns. That's an interesting thing for them to have an issue with.
Yeah, especially since up to before this, the main talking point has been Call of Duty.
Yeah, I wonder what triggered that change.
They probably
My
went down the line because Microsoft said, okay, there's deals here, there's deals there, there's deals there about Call of Duty. And then they went to the next point of the list. Here, cloud gaming. There's a problem.
Yeah, I feel this is one of those moments where I gotta say I think the UK is being far more thorough than I think the US ever has been about mergers. I don't think the US is. We're not generally very thorough unless there's actually a crime being committed. Like
Possible. Although
unless
the
a
FTC did also have complaints about the merger, so yeah, the question is obviously, yeah, how thorough have they been? But yeah, the CMA in Britain has certainly been much more often in the news about this.
yeah, a much more caring about whether or not this is a great idea
Mm-hmm.
to let Microsoft buy up a proverbial
Yeah.
large section of the industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this whole thing is certainly gonna stall the whole thing at least a few years.
Ugh.
So, yeah, this might be the death sentence for this merger. We'll have to see.
It might not be worth it at that point. They're gonna keep getting stalled out. Like it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'll take my money and go elsewhere. I'll buy something else with my billions of dollars.
For one, that for and the others also they have to extend the merger proposal because the whole deal has a certain time limit in it. If it doesn't go
Ah.
through by that, I think it's June, July, something like that this year. And if Activision says, yeah, the deal like that is still okay, then it'll be extended, I suppose. But if they'd say, yeah, no, not for that amount of money, we want more, then who knows?
How much is
We'll have to
Activision
see.
Blizzard? Because at that point, you have to ask, how much is Activision Blizzard really worth? how much?
I
How
mean,
much?
didn't they just recently have their earnings thing? Let's see. I think they had their financial results released just recently. First quarter net bookings grew 25%. Mobile grew double digits year over year.
All right, I'm feel you.
They have
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
They've apparently certainly been quite decent there. Let's see, financial report 2023. Where's a good summary for it?
The point I kind of wanna touch on specifically is like,
And net revenue grew 35% year on year.
was that before or after they cut like a bunch of employees? Because I know how Activision Blizzard works. How many people did they lay off in order to fudge those numbers? Yeah.
I haven't heard about any layoffs recently in terms of
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard.
Oh, really? Good for them. Wait, no, not good for.
At least there have at least I don't think there has been any in the news from what I heard.
I'm not giving them that. I'm not giving them a
But
pat in the back for the bare minimum. Sorry, it's not my style.
we're gonna have to see if something happens there. But partially, this is of course Call of Duty and the pre-orders for Diablo 4. And interestingly, as this was another record quarter for Candy Crush developer and publisher King.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, totally. Of course. Why not?
Uh-huh.
Fuck it. We're already here.
King is a really big part of this whole thing. They really get nice amount from that.
Of course. Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I? I'm not allowed to be happy anyways. Fuck it. My happiness? No, fuck it. I don't get to be fucking happy in this world. Fuck me, right? Fuck Reza. It's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. I'm not mad. No. Why would I be? Not this guy. Absolutely not. I guess the thing is, the reason I even want only reason I really even broach this topic in general is because do you remember when it was me, you, Pete, and Kylie, and I made that giant analogy about a mall? Remember my mall analogy, and then I'm like, Microsoft bought ZeniMax, and that was like buying an entire chain of stores, multiple chains of stores inside the mall. And now I'm like, now they're going to buy Activision Blizzard, which is basically like buying a bunch of smaller malls. Yeah. Like, I don't have a lot of love for Activision Blizzard, but I do have like my issues with the idea of that kind of consolidation of power for like one place. And I know some of you are gonna be like, yeah, but you don't really get mad about Embracer Studios buying shit up. But it's like, yeah, but they're not buying up like they're buying up like IPs and shit. And like
it's a lot of studios there, but they're far smaller. Yeah.
It's not like take it from me, if they did something that was going to raise a brow, you'd hear it from me at the very least. I just don't really get that feeling from like this gives me such a different feeling. Like the notion that Microsoft could have such a stable of shit behind them, which, you know, I want to segue to a story that happened earlier, like earlier in the week. I don't remember the impotence for it. I just remember I saw a bit about it, about I guess it was Hi-Fi Rush. Its sales were good given its price, but its sales weren't great given, I guess, certain levels of expectation. You know, like for what the game costs to make and everything, its sales were fantastic. But for the expectations that maybe came with it, its sales weren't great. And I'm like, yeah.
That
But
reminds me of Square Enix and their expectations for Tomb Raider.
yeah, it's like okay, so you have having an expectation is fine. Expecting a game
Yep.
to have a certain level of quality, fine. Which, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure I'm clear, Hi-Fi Rush is a great game. It's
Mm-hmm.
also $30, and
Yep.
you could make the argument: would the game have done as well if it was more money? I will say I will say I don't think as many people would have impulse bought Hi-Fi Rush.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very likely.
You know what I
And I
mean?
mean, it was also on Game Pass day one, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's another thing that's kind of been coming up a lot is like
Mm-hmm.
this notion that Game Pass hurts games or hurts Microsoft, hurts games. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Look, I've always expressed that I didn't fully understand the dynamic of having your game available on Game Pass
Mm-hmm.
at launch. That to me
It's
to
an
me
investment into the future.
to me that almost sounds like cannibalism of your product.
Uh, Kinda, sorta.
Kinda. Okay,
Kinda,
so
sorta.
it's not just me then, because like to me it
It's
feels that way.
it's a complex
Oh, I'm
calculation
sure it is.
because,
I'm sure it
for
is.
one, obviously you have your permanent, your monthly subscription money coming in through Game Pass, which the numbers there only stay up and rise if what you have is good and if you have enough in that library. So that incentivizes them to put as many games into Game Pass as possible. For one, there's that.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, obviously, you don't get all the DLC and stuff for the games when you have it on Game Pass, so there's still additional earnings there that you can get. And on the other hand, it's also possible that people learn about new games through Game Pass
Do
and
you?
you get more interest in certain things like that.
Yeah, that's probably. Yeah, that sounds
Mm-hmm.
about right. Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm in a weird spot. It also doesn't help that Microsoft really hasn't had a home run. Like a
Yeah.
real a
Mm-hmm.
real genuine fucking knock it out the park home run in their camp in quite a fucking long time. And that to me that's such a crazy fucking thing to see.
Mm-hmm.
You got Sony over here knocking them bitches out the park, and Microsoft can barely get a game out the fucking gate, or games are just getting canceled, or in some cases we just stop hearing about fucking games after a while. It's a weird place to
It
be, man.
depends. Yeah, they do have their library of games, but it's not an identically comparable one. Yeah, because in the past they had Halo as a really massive one,
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely.
and that one, what happened with Infinite was really unfortunate.
Yeah, no, Infinite. I would say Infinite shot itself in the foot, but that would actually be a misnomer, because getting
Yeah,
shot in the foot means you might still be able to save the fucking foot.
it was almost an infinite series of mistakes.
Yeah, it's just I'm just saying that Microsoft hasn't really had a God of War Ragnarok level moment, or a
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man
Yeah,
level
that's
moment,
definitely
or a
true.
Horizon. They haven't really had
Mm-hmm.
those.
Yep.
And I mean, to be fair, if we're 100% fair to Microsoft, that shouldn't surprise us, because
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft's only real staples that they've had for the longest time have been Halo, Forza, Gears of War.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have
On
Titanfall anymore.
console, certainly. Yeah.
They don't
Mm-hmm.
have Titanfall anymore. That's now multi-platform. Although I feel like if the Xbox One hadn't
Mm-hmm.
of fucked itself into oblivion at launch, Titanfall could have potentially have been a really good first party thing for them that would have given them something to stand out, but because Microsoft decided to include a HAL 9000 with every single fucking console.
Yeah, among other problems.
You know, I'm gonna tell you the truth, CD. I'm just happy you got that reference. That's all that matters. I'm just happy you got that, because that's the second HAL 9000 joke I've made this month, and nobody got it the first time. Nobody. Everyone's like, HAL 9000.
Yeah,
I'm
those
like,
people are just ignorant.
I'm like, oh my god, how do you not? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a deal with y'all later. Y'all not understanding the HAL 9000 joke. I thought that shit was fucking I thought that shit was fucking fantastic. But apparently HAL 9000 fucking lost everybody. Fuck them people.
Yeah.
Yeah, where was I? Shit. Yeah, no, Microsoft just doesn't have they don't have that. They don't have, and they had Killer Instinct. And that just died. They didn't. I mean, that died. They didn't continue.
And even that's arguably not that great of a name in comparison.
But it's
their biggest names currently are definitely. Their biggest names on console are currently Halo and Forza.
That's it. That's all they have.
They do have other things, but those are not in that category.
Bro, like look, I think me and you sat in on one of the Xbox shows years ago. Remember? We did me and you kind of did a commentary about one of the Xbox shows.
Yeah.
And like even we were like, there's really nothing here exclusive for Xbox that really made me that's the big reason I got rid of my One. It's not because it's a bad console. It isn't. It's actually the One X is a great console. But like,
the Series X is really nice.
How do you feel about that? You've heard about the ongoing thing about the Series X. This because developers now have to make a version of the game for the S and the X.
Yeah, the problem with the S and the X. Yeah, that's probably not helping them either.
Is that really a thing though? They have to make two different versions? You can't just
yeah, they have to adapt. They have to make sure that the game runs on the S well enough. They can't just make an optimized version for the X.
Right, because
that's the thing. The difference in terms of performance is significant between the two. Because essentially, I think the S is closer to the last gen of consoles than the current gen. I think.
Yeah, it's a bit more powerful than last gen. It's not by a lot. It's by a decent margin, but it's nowhere near as powerful as the premium ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's this thing.
So you have to make sure that it works well. The game works well enough there, and as we've seen with, I think, Gotham Knights, it was there's only 30 frames per second is possible there. 60 can't do it.
It's just this
stuff
weird,
like that.
It's this weird thing of like Microsoft. What they really need is like a couple of really good games specifically for them. And the bigger issue is that I don't know, man. Microsoft's track record right now at just getting things out the door in general has been so abysmal. But all they really need,
in terms of the big titles, certainly, yeah.
All they really need is just a couple of really big things, and then to get Halo back on fucking track.
Yep.
And then cause third parties there. Everything comes out for everything these days, unless it's Nintendo, then it only comes out for Nintendo. But, it's everything comes out everywhere these days. So
I mean, they even managed to get Kingdom Hearts and stuff like that, and Persona, I think, on
Yeah, yeah,
Xbox
yeah.
now. So,
They
yep, third party is definitely there.
everything is everywhere these days. So there really is no
Mm-hmm.
excuse. Just
Mm.
fucking just make something.
Yeah,
Like you guys have
that's the
things you
problem. Sony has stuff like, as you said, Horizon, Spider-Man, Last of Us, Uncharted previously. What's other stuff currently? Well, whatever the Spider-Man devs are currently doing, I think the second one and were they doing a one? No, and they weren't doing a Wonder Woman game. They were doing a Wolverine game.
yeah,
That was it.
they're doing a Wolverine
Yeah.
game next.
Yep. Yeah, and Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, so
So
like they have
that's
stuff
coming. Yeah,
on top of just
they
whatever
have
else
big
comes
exclusives.
on.
Even if they're slowly coming on to PC as well, but still,
And then
that's
like
a big draw for many.
even if we want to just talk about maybe games that aren't exclusive to Sony, but
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of the Trails games come out for Sony's console and the
Mm-hmm.
Switch. So you have a choice there. So you're not
Mm-hmm.
getting those really any you're not getting you got the choice there. Those are the unique things. It's
Yeah.
just you got to have something. You can't
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Microsoft has been writing on the idea that it's fucking Microsoft for a long time. There was a video talking about do people who bought a Series X regret their purchase. It was
Mm-hmm.
I think What Culture Gaming made that topic video where they're talking about this
Mm-hmm.
sort of underlying kind of buyer's remorse at this point for certain people
Mm-hmm.
who've bought the console where it's like yeah, like Game Pass exists and I do have stuff to play, but there's really nothing, there's
Yeah.
there's nothing here that I couldn't have just played somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like Jedi Fallen Order might run slightly better
Mm-hmm.
on Series X, but I could also play that on PlayStation or potentially PC. potentially PC. Yeah, right. It's like you could. It's just it's that weird that interesting conversation. I don't even want to go into some of the weirder decisions Microsoft has made concerning their consoles, such as
Mm-hmm.
such as the stupid SSD memory card bullshit things they came up with for the Series X. Have you seen
Mm-hmm.
them fucking things?
I don't think
Oh, you
so.
haven't? Okay, I'll have to
It,
show you one
I
of these
might
days.
have, but yeah, it's been a while,
They
if
don't
so.
because they don't
But they're
have
probably similar to they're hmm, they're probably in a way like the additional SSD you can put in the PS5, but without needing to open the system.
kinda. Kinda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess. But they're also like infinitely more expensive than just buying an SSD because they're proprietary
Mm-hmm.
to just this console and they never go on sale. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you remember the Sony memory cards for
I was about
the
to say, so we have a PS Vita memory card situation here.
yeah, we're back to that now.
Ironic.
Hey man, there's nothing new under the sun, it's all cyclical. Just goes around and
Mm-hmm.
around and around and around and around. Yeah, that's how it goes, man. There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
new. Anyways,
Yeah.
everybody, I hope you've all enjoyed this lovely episode of the Turn-Based Cynics. A little bit of a twist, little trying something new for the show
Mm-hmm.
for a change, giving some, spice is the flavor of life after all, and sometimes I enjoy something tasty over something that burns the taste buds off of my tongue. Sometimes depends. In any case,
Mm-hmm.
everybody, you can find our show on a variety of platforms such as Spotify, Apple, and Google, and our video show located on our YouTube channel, Turn Based Cynics, every single Sunday without fail. Without fail. Every Sunday. It'll be live Sunday night, every night. every Sunday night, whether or not I like it. It'll be there, unless the episode got fucked. But it did not get fucked, because I've been watching it the entire time. Thank you very much.
That's good.
Not making that mistake again. In any case, everybody, hope you've all had a fantastic week. Hope you all continue to have a fantastic weekend. Me, on the other hand, I'm on vacation. Don't know if y'all know that or not. My birthday is the next Friday. I'll be the ripe old age. Are you ready for this, CD? Are you ready? I'll be the ripe old age of 35. I got 5 years. I got 5 years left, CD. I got 5 years left to the big 4-0. Ooh. Ooh, that. Ooh. It's the doomsday timer from fucking Watchmen. Yeah. Yeah, the doomsday clock. Yeah. We're not quite to midnight yet, motherfucker, but we get there. We're at 11:30, CD. 11:30. The clock is ticking. I hope you have a fantastic week. I've had a fantastic time with this show, and we will see you all next time.
See ya.
All right, fantastic.